Hi everyone, Wayne Williams here from Profunda Analytics. Today, I'm going to explain to you the full value of Profunda Voice 2.0. Contrary to what people think when they first see the product, its primary value is not voice control. It is instead the ability to answer an infinite number of questions. Let's use an example to demonstrate that. What you're looking at now is a traditional dashboard. This one focuses on clinic revenue, and it provides quite a reasonable top-level breakdown of that revenue. The chart in the upper left shows overall revenue. The dark blue line shows revenue for the current year, while the lighter blue line shows revenue for the previous year. In this case, the chart clearly shows that revenue for the current year is consistently above that of the previous year, ignoring this partial month stuff here at the end. The chart in the upper right provides a breakdown of revenue by doctor, with the dark blue bars showing the current year and the lighter blue bars showing the previous year. The lower charts do exactly the same, except by location group and procedure group. As I say, this is quite a reasonable top-level breakdown. The way that traditional dashboards work is that if you want more information on something, you click it to drill down. For example, if I want to know more about the Camelot location group, I simply click its dark blue bar. This opens up a second dashboard focused on the Camelot group, which provides me with further breakdown of details by location, zip code, and in this case, driving distance for the patients. Likewise, if I had drilled down on doctor, I get a different breakdown, this one for Dr. Bon Jovi, and in this case we're showing demographic type information like gender, age group, and which day of the week they visit the doctor. But here we run into the main problem with traditional dashboards. What if I was interested in the patient driving distance per doctor? That is, how far patients were willing to drive to see various doctors. That panel is only associated with this location dashboard. It is not associated with the doctor dashboard. This kind of obstacle occurs because traditional dashboards have to be fully designed in advance. They are too rigid to answer questions for which they are not specifically designed. No problem, you might say. Just have the programmer add a distance chart to the doctor dashboard. But here we run into an insurmountable math problem. There are 14 different data columns in our sample data, things like doctor, procedure group, location, etc. That means there are 14 times 13 times 12, etc. possible combinations of those columns. That equals more than 87 billion possible combinations. Add in 13 measures, such as patient counts, visits per patient, etc., and you get more than 1.13 trillion different possible views. Even the most elaborate traditional dashboards offer 100 panels at most. As a traditional dashboard designer, you of course try to address the 100 most important views for your users, but no matter what you do, you can't escape the fact that you can't answer 99.999999999% of your users' questions. Contrast this with the way that Profunda Voice 2.0 works. You want to see driving distance by a doctor? No problem. Note that I'm using keyboard shortcuts here instead of voice, just to prove the point that voice control isn't the issue. You want to see distances just for Dr. Bon Jovi? No problem. Maybe breakdowns by location or location group. What if we want to filter to just patients who are 85 and older? What if we want to remove the location group and get a breakdown by gender instead? Remember those 13 different measures I talked about? Instead of patient counts, let's look at visits per patient instead. Or how about dollars paid versus billed? The point is, Profunda Voice 2.0 can answer every single one of those 1.13 trillion possible questions in the data. Add in the ability to filter any of the 14 data columns, some, like diagnosis code, containing hundreds of values, and we're not talking 1.13 trillion questions. We're talking quintillions of questions and beyond. How is this possible? It's because Profunda doesn't pre-build anything. That is, it doesn't lock you into some rigid, limited design. To answer your questions, it builds whatever it needs on the fly. And even that's not the full depth of it. Remember that scenario in the Profunda Voice 2.0 Part 1 video, where the user saw a doctor who had lost patients year over year and wanted to find out why? Let's walk through that one step at a time using keyboard shortcuts. First, we add a column for doctor. We quickly spot row 5, where Dr. Billy Joel has lost 4% of patients year over year. We want to see if there's a trend behind that, so we simply say, keyboard shortcut for show trend row 5. There does seem to be a consistent downward trend going on here. So what we want to know now is what's changing? Where are the patient losses occurring? To do that, we simply shift interfaces by saying show changes. Right away, so this interface shows us the changes that have occurred, both positive and negative, and right away this one jumps out at us here, this 85 plus. It's kind of a large group, 262 patients, and the doctor's lost nearly 25% of his patients. So we decide to focus on that by adding a filter. Okay, now we're looking at a sea of red. What we need to do is to find things that were significant, we just have to hold our mouse over them and get some statistics. But let's just say that we did that and we became interested in this optical department group down here, which is 72 patients. We can loop back now to our pivot table to begin analysis of that group just by simply saying show pivot, optical department. Okay, now this has put us back in pivot analysis, but it has set the filters according to our journey, which is Dr. Billy Joel, 85 plus, patient age, and department is optical department. And from here, we're at a brand new starting point. We can turn around and say, I wonder if it has to do with driving distance, for example. Okay, well, that's interesting, actually. A lot of the patient loss, the top patient loss, is occurring in driving distances that are very close, it's nearby. And so we could go on from this and basically do any kind of analysis from here and looping through all this, and not just the interfaces I've shown you, but many other interfaces. And so we're not only able to answer quintillions of one-layer questions, we can answer, because of this ability to navigate endlessly, we can answer an infinite number of multi-layer questions. And there is no other system in the world that does this. I know I've been building business intelligence systems and dashboards for nearly 30 years. There is no other system in the world that even comes close to the ability to do this. So what about voice control? What role does it play? Well, first, it's a necessity. With all the questions and navigations that Profunda supports from any one interface, if I was to attempt to enable users to access those capabilities through screen controls, I'd have to put hundreds of screen controls on every interface, which would completely overwhelm them. Only voice allows me to expose all those capabilities to users without taking up the screen space. It's also extremely efficient for users. I know this video is getting long, but let me show you two quick examples. In this first example, we're going to look at a list of doctors who perform cataract surgeries. While doing this, we spot a doctor who doesn't perform cataract surgeries. It's a data entry error, So we're going to immediately drill into the details and export them to Excel so that we can hand that Excel spreadsheet to the billing department for correction. Watch how easy this is to do with voice. Add filter cataract surgeries. Add column doctor. Show visits 5. Export Excel. And there you have it. No fuss, no muss, just boom, right to what you want. Get the document out in an Excel spreadsheet, hand it to that building department, and you're done. In this last example, let's say that you're trying to design a targeted marketing campaign by zip code for one of your locations. You basically want to see where your existing patients are inside each zip code to see if you're neglecting certain areas or streets. Here's what you'd do. Add filter Camelot group. Add column zip code. Show map 4. Okay, so what we're doing here is we've opened up this map. We're going to zip down to street level. I just want to get down low enough where we can have a little discussion. So I was able to access this just with those couple of commands. And what I'm looking at is I'm looking at the zip code 37777 for the location group, Camelot group. And you can see that there are some tight clusters of patients here. There's like 10 patients here in this one little street area, another group here, another group here. You know, if I had to guess, I would say probably when you see tight clustering that, you probably got a fair bit of word of mouth going on, and which is a positive for that location. But if you look over here, you see there's quite an area here, residential area, that has no patients, just one patient actually, and as compared to these clusters. And the thing about this area is that's unique about it is it's actually closer to the Camelot group, driving distance-wise, by about 4 minutes than these tight clusters of patients. So it's an area that the clinic should have more patients, and so you know to target this here. Now, this tool, by the way, we're going to be enhancing this significantly. We're going to put in things like driving distances, we're going to put in demographics, and we're going to put in competitor information to show the location of competitors. But the point from the perspective of this demo is how quickly you got here. With just a few verbal commands, you zone right in on a zip code and you're looking at a map of the patient locations, and then you can decide what you want to do, like I said, a targeted marketing campaign based on that. And that's the beauty of Profunda Voice 2.0. You're only a few seconds away from the most sophisticated analysis imaginable. Just a few voice commands. Okay, that's it for this video. I apologize for its length, but if you've managed to complete this, then I think we're ready to discuss the business opportunities associated with Profunda Voice 2.0.